Today I'm going to show you how to make a braided chili loaf with rabbit. For this recipe you will need 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of ground pepper, black, quarter teaspoon of salt. I'm using Himalayan pink salt, and a half teaspoon of basil. You will need 1 large garlic clove or 2 small garlic cloves minced up. You'll need 1 small yellow onion or about a cup of onion diced. You'll need a cup of plain tomato sauce, and you'll need a pound of ground rabbit. Okay, first you'll need to saute your onion. On about medium heat, and you are going to want to do that for a couple of minutes before adding the garlic in. Okay, the onion's been cooking for a couple of minutes. It's softened nicely. I'm going to put the garlic in now. Okay, and now you want to saute that until the garlic is soft. Just don't let the garlic burn. Probably about 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, the onion is starting to caramelize, and at this point I turn the heat off and I add in the pound of ground rabbit meat. You can also use beef or pork or whatever. Right. Once you have the meat crumbled up in there, you can turn your heat back on and start browning it. And then you just want to brown it for about 5 minutes or so. Alright, after it's browned, you want to add in a cup of tomato sauce. And then add your seasonings. And stir it in. And then you just want to cook this for a couple of minutes until the sauce is absorbed into the meat. Alright, and that's what it looks like when the meat portion is done. Okay, to start the dough, you will need a half cup of warm water, a teaspoon of sugar, and a half of a tablespoon of yeast. Start that proofing, and we will come back when it's ready. Now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. You will need a tablespoon of oil. I'm using olive oil. You'll need a half cup of warm milk. You'll need a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of salt, and then 2.5 cups of flour. And you might need to add a little more, but most of the time I don't. And then you let that knead for about 5 minutes. Alright, while that is making the dough, you need to sprinkle some cornmeal onto a piece of parchment paper on a cookie sheet, or you can use a greased cookie sheet if you like. I just find the cleanup's a lot easier with the parchment paper. And this is the cornmeal I used. It's organic, so you don't have to worry about GMOs. Alright, so this is done. And it makes a nice soft dough. It's kind of sticky, so you'll have to oil your hands or flour them or something. I prefer oil. It just keeps it from sticking better, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm just loosening the dough ball from the sides. And you can take it and put it over on my parchment lined cookie sheet, right on top of the cornmeal. I oiled the rolling pin, so hopefully this won't stick. I don't really like to add extra flour if I don't have to. And you just want to roll it out in like a rectangle. It'll be easier off the cake pan, I think, or cookie sheet. And you're aiming for a long, I don't know, kind of rectangular shape, but it's probably going to make an oval here, but that's fine. Okay, I think, and then get this back on your pan. Alright, and you take your filling, which should have cooled down pretty well by now, and you just want to run it up the center. Okay, you want to leave a couple inches on either end. And then you take a knife and you just start making slits. Actually, I may need to get a better knife. Okay, you want to make about an inch apart slits here. Being a little stubborn tonight. It doesn't have to be perfect. It'll look good when it's done, even if your little strips are a little uneven. And you want to stay out from the meat a little bit because you want to be able to pull this up over the sides without anything being able to leak out. Okay, so you want to bring your end up like so and cross, and then cross, and it's very forgiving, so if it doesn't quite do it the way you're expecting, it'll still look decent when it's done. Okay, and you just take some of the cornmeal that goes underneath and sprinkle it across the top. Okay, it's 350 degrees for 35 minutes. So you preheat your oven. You're going to let this rise though for 30 minutes before you put it in. So in about 15 minutes, then you'll preheat your oven, and then it'll be ready by the time the dough's finished rising. Okay, this has risen for half an hour, so now it's ready to go into the oven. Alright, so this is the finished product, and I'll come back when I've cut it open so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so there you go, braided chili loaf.